Hello, I'm Karan Mushiri. I work in the Quality Assurance Unit, Policy and Tax Advisory in Kenya Revenue Authority. One of the things we do in quality assurance is developing frameworks, policies, and manuals. And as a result of that, once they've been approved, we conduct trainings to sensitize staff on the new operating procedures, if any. And if it is an update, we also notify them because we must ensure that our staff are operating within the current legal framework or the current legal environment. So in the course of conducting these online trainings, there are 5 things that I've noted that are very essential to do, born out of doing an average of 8 trainings per month. So one of the first things I normally advise is test. And what I mean by test is because of their online nature, we send out links either on Microsoft Teams, on Zoom, on Skype. And at times, these links can fail us. What comes to mind very quickly is there was a time I was conducting a session and I could not log in longer than 10 minutes. And it's not necessarily the issue of the service provider, but that particular link was just not working. Graciously, the audience that I was training was willing to be patient, and what was supposed to start at 10 and ended up starting at 11. So I would advise, in the interest of ensuring that you're honoring the time of your participants, test the link ahead of time. The other thing I would say, number 2, is have a hard copy of the particular presentation that you're making to your audience. The reason I advise this is because since it's an online platform, you can find that you're having connectivity issues. Your link to the other participants, if they're in a different building or if they're in a different location, the streaming may be slower, or altogether your screen may freeze and all they can do is hear you. And because you're also relying on looking at the screen in front of you, you may be stuck. So to ensure that the training progresses, I would advise have a hard copy so that at least in the interest of time, because whoever you're training tends to have other things that they are attending to, just have a hard copy, sensitize them because people will remember what you say. The third thing I would say is, in line with the hard copy, have training notes. There have been scenarios whereby you can tell when somebody is training, even for them, that content is fresh and new to them. So they're just busy reading from the slides. And it can be very rote, it can be very boring. Otherwise, then what's the point of sensitizing them? You should just have simply sent the notes to them, then they can read for themselves. But what training notes do is that it maps out the themes of the particular training, and it gives you a smooth flow or a smooth transition topic to topic. So even you, because you can see what is coming up ahead, you're able to give relevant examples, or you're able to give relevant case studies, and you're able to link topic to topic, whether it is forward or backwards, so that maybe by the time you're getting to slide 13, you may have addressed it in slide 7, and people can now start to see the thread that is in it. The fourth thing I would say is stand. I know right now I'm seated as I'm delivering this, but there's something about standing that gives you an air of authority. Also, you should place your device, whether it's an iPad or a laptop, to be eye level with you, because right now, as you can see, I'm looking down. So when you stand, you're able to project your voice better, you're able to command your audience, and most importantly, what standing does is that it keeps you alert. There's something about sitting that can just make you drift away. So the first thing I would say is stand during your presentation. And lastly, stories. When you give stories during a presentation, whether it is a case study or an example, people tend to remember the stories as opposed to the content. Given the nature of the legal environments where our work operates in, people can get lost in legalese. And people may not remember the particular sections or references you're making to the law. But should you tell them a story of a particular incident where whatever it is you're updating them on applies, they'll be like, oh, so this is a practical example to what you're actually stating. And though they may not remember the legalese, they will remember the practical example or the case study that you gave them. So for me, those are the 5 things I would say are very important when delivering an online presentation, which is just for purposes of a recap. Number 1, test. Number 2, have a hard copy of your training. Number 3, have training notes. Number 4, stand. And number 5, give stories. Thank you for your time.